The man looked down the hallway. Every door on both sides was shut tight. Suddenly, he heard a noise from the room at the far end. The moment he turned the doorknob, a hand yanked him inside. Before he could react, the figure shoved him hard against the door. But the man's name was Shenfu. He and his sister Shenlingi were dressed to the nines. They were here for today's banquet at Pingzhouchang Garden. The siblings were striking. They told everyone their family ran a silk business back home, and they had the guards at the door eating out of their hands. Their target today was Lu Jiming, the only son of at least 3 generations. Young Master Lu of Pingzhou was famous for throwing money quick payday and disappear easy pickings. Shenfu had plenty of faith in his sister. If it had a pulse, it'd fall for her. But right now, he was a little confused. This young Master Lu had his face right up against his ear. Before he could process it, he was thrown onto the sofa. Outside, voices got louder. Shenfu didn't dare make a sound. The voices were getting closer. Shenfu grabbed the guy's shoulders and tried to push him off. What young Master Lu did next left him stunned. He grabbed the man on top of him and pinned him down hard on the sofa. The lights came on. A crowd stood there, shocked at what they were seeing. Shenfu thought, great, no way to talk my way out of this one. Word spread through Pingzhou. The Zhang family had planned a match at the banquet. Lu Jiming was supposed to marry Miss Zhang. Instead, they caught Lu Jiming fooling around with some handsome guy. Shenfu asked his buddy Xiaowa if anyone figured out who the handsome guy was. Xiaowa said no. Shenfu couldn't help but gripe. Master Lu likes men. What are we supposed to do now? Shenlingi grabbed Shenfu and straightened his collar. Little brother, it's your turn. Shenfu swatted her hand away. He'd be fine charming some lady. But she shut him down. Whose money is easier than Lu Jiming's? We lose this big fish. This whole trip was for nothing. Shenfu felt his finger and jumped up. Where's my diamond ring? That bastard Lu Jiming must have pulled it off. Shenlingi grabbed his ear. That diamond ring cost a fortune. Get it back now. He found out Lu Jiming's favorite hangout was the pleasure house. Shenfu cleaned himself up and went. Good looks really do help. A few words and he knew exactly where the young master was. He pulled out a silver dollar. It hurt to part with it, but he had to keep up appearances. The woman led him right to the young master's door. Ling Xidong from the pleasure house answered. She said the young master was asleep. Shenfu didn't even look at her and pushed his way in. Lu Jiming was yawning, pulling back the curtain as he got up. He gave Shenfu a lazy once over. Who's this? Oh, I'm your grandpa. That's what Shenfu was thinking, but he kept it off his face. He smiled and said he was Shenfu, the young master of Yubei Hongfu Silk House. Ooh. Jiming lazily looked up. He remembered that day and smirked. Oh, I remember, it's you. Lu Jiming seemed to recall that moment and smiled at Shenfu. Good name. You really do smell nice. Shenfu didn't miss a beat. He smiled. Too kind. Lu Jiming told Ling Xian to leave. She said okay. She was about to go when Shenfu grabbed her. Shenfu figured, if she left now, by tomorrow the whole city would be saying young Master Lu was fooling around with some handsome guy at the pleasure house. Shenfu held onto Ling Xian and said, I left the diamond ring behind that day. Did you see it, young master? Lu Jiming was sprawled on the sofa. He asked him what it looked like. Shenfu gestured the size. Lu Jiming laughed. That's small. No way I'd spot it. He brushed him off. I'll take another look when I get back. Shenfu was annoyed. He wasn't letting him off that easy. He put on a sincere face. The ring was from my late mother. It's really important. Lu Jiming said got it. He'd send word if he found it. Shenfu thanked him and left. As he closed the door, Lu Jiming caught his eye and raised his glass in a toast. Shenfu thought, what a wasteful playboy. 2 days later, Lu Jiming sent word to Shenfu. He found the ring. Come pick it up at the pleasure house. As soon as Shenfu arrived, the woman from before grabbed his arm. Her name was Fenger. When Lu Jiming saw him, he reached out. Before Shenfu could finish speaking, Lu grabbed his wrist. He forced him down onto the seat next to him. It's a rare party. You gotta see this. Don't kill the mood yet. Fenger stepped forward, explained the young master wants to use roses as votes. Whoever gets the most roses wins. She asked Shenfu how many votes he wanted to buy. Shenfu couldn't help but think this is just burning cash. He looked embarrassed. I didn't expect a party. I didn't bring cash. Let me send someone to get it. Right then, Lu Jiming casually pulled out a pocket watch by the mall. Shenfu just watched him trade that gold pocket watch for a bunch of flowers. It was loud. Lu Jiming leaned close to his ear. Which one do you like? The hot breath on his ear made Shenfu feel strangely warm. Lu Jiming casually draped an arm around his shoulder and chatted about who to vote for. The topic made Shenfu blush. Lu Jiming pulled back and leaned against the sofa. He switched topics. You shouldn't wear cologne. Shenfu looked at him, confused. Lu Jiming's eyes were full of amusement. Cologne can't compete with your natural scent. Shenfu scowled and immediately scooted away. In the end, Lu Jiming decided to throw all of Shenfu's roses to Fenger. Fenger won first place. She walked off the stage thrilled. Seeing Shenfu just sitting there quietly, Fenger liked him. She playfully scolded him. Young Master Shen bought quite a few votes too. Shenfu waved his hand and smiled. The young master paid for all of them. I only have one vote to cast. Everyone was confused about that one vote. Then Shenfu reached toward Fenger's hair and pulled a rose out of thin air. Shenfu took Fenger's hand and kissed the back of it. This vote's for you. Icing on the cake. He even shot Lu Jiming a smug smile. Yeah. Casually pulled a ring from his pocket. Shenfu backed down immediately. He let go of Fenger's hand. Then Lu Jiming suddenly stood up and went upstairs without a word. For the ring, Shenfu followed him. Upstairs, Shenfu reached for the ring, but Lu Jiming dodged. Lu Jiming asked him how he planned to fake. Shenfu pretended not to understand. He said he had nothing in that the young master would want. Lu Jiming turned and walked to the sofa. He said he wasn't sincere. Come take it yourself. Shenfu saw him leaning on the sofa with the ring between his teeth. He raised his eyebrow, staring at him like he was waiting to see him stuck. But Shenfu never backed down from a challenge. He just paused for a second, then walked right up and braced his hand on the sofa. Just as he leaned down for the ring, Lu Jiaming slipped it into his mouth and pulled him down by the neck. Shenfu jerked back and stumbled a few steps. Lu Jiaming raised an eyebrow with a smile. The ring was still gleaming between his lips. Shenfu huffed, "Young master, careful you don't swallow that ring. You'll need a doctor." Lu Jiaming pulled out a handkerchief and wrapped the ring in it. As if Shenfu wasn't annoyed enough, he kept smiling at him. Shenfu got angrier thinking about it. Total loss. He never got the diamond ring back. Shenfu was fuming. But what he didn't expect was that as soon as he got home, Jiaming had his guard Xingye deliver a box. The three of them crowded around it. The box was shut tight. Shen Lingyi forced it open. The box flipped over, spilling diamonds all over the table. All different sizes. Shenfu swatted Lingyi's hand away. He gritted his teeth. Not yet. Gotta bait the hook to catch the big fish. Lu Jiaming went back to Chang Garden for dinner, even though he was the legitimate young master of the Lu family. Lady Wang relied on her son Zhang Zhenglu holding military. She loved bossing the Lu family around. 4 days ago, Lu Jiaming fooling around with a man ruined the Zhang family's reputation. So the Wang and Zhang mother and son spread remarks in front of the old master. They hinted that Lu Jiaming was reckless. The old master didn't say anything. He coughed twice and left. Even his new concubine could tell what those two were up to. Lu Jiaming stayed silent the whole time. When he finished eating, he left too. Only the Wang and Zhang mother and son were left in the hall. Zhang Zhenglu realized they'd been too eager. When Lu Jiaming got back to the mansion, he saw the box of diamonds Shenfu had returned. He lit a cigarette and asked Qingye what he found out. Qingye told him about the siblings. It checked out with what they said.
He asked Lu Jiaming if he wanted someone to go to Yubei and dig deeper.
Lu Jiaming said no. He casually tossed the diamonds into the fish pond. Those diamonds were fake. Lu Jiaming had already traded the real ones for weapons. In his eyes, Shenfu's background didn't matter. He couldn't cause trouble anyway. But thinking about Shenfu putting on that act about the diamond ring, Lu Jiaming couldn't help but smile. Smart guy. Playing the long game. A few days later, Lu Jiaming showed up at the Shen family's door. Xiao answered. He said his young master was asleep. Lu Jiaming teased. In broad daylight, your young master hibernating. Xiao stammered. Xiao said bluntly. The young master told me to tell you he's asleep. Lu Jiaming laughed. He handed the pastries to Xiao. He didn't wait for an answer and left. Meanwhile, Shenfu was sitting in a tree in the yard. He watched Lu Jiaming's car disappear down the alley. Shen Lingyi worried that he was worried. She thought he was pushing him away. Shenfu wasn't concerned. He jumped down from the tree. He told Shen Lingyi to relax. The timing was almost right. He'd score big soon. On New Year's Eve, Shenfu went to Fu Chan's house. Lu Jiaming saw him the second he walked into the private room. He fussed over him for wearing so little. Before Shenfu could say anything, Lu Jiaming turned him around and made him drink some hot tea. Shenfu glared at him. Lu Jiaming just smiled. In the private room, besides the two of them, Qingye stood at attention. The opera hadn't started yet. The table was already loaded with snacks. Shenfu noticed they were all things he liked. Lu Jiaming smiled at him. Last time at the pleasure house, he saw him eating. Shenfu eyed while thinking to himself, all this concern. Tricks to fool little girls. But young master Lu really did put in effort. If Lu Jiaming put in effort today, tomorrow he'd put in money. Thinking about it like that, Shenfu was in a great mood. After the opera, Fu Chan House's star Sai Kanlai came to personally thank the young master. Now without his makeup bust, he looked handsome. He asked the young master if he wanted to go to Tianfei Temple like usual to light the first incense. He looked at Shenfu. Since young master Shen is here, why not come along for good luck? Shenfu got it now, so that's how it is. Lu Jiaming grew up with a silver spoon. He probably never owed anyone money, but he owed plenty of romantic debt. He brushed the sugar off his hands. You two go ahead. I'm going home to sleep. He didn't wait for anyone to stop him and walked right out of the private room. At the Shen family's villa, Xiao was playing happily in the yard. When Shenfu came back, he called out happily, bro. Shenfu quickly held his finger to his lips. Shit. Soon a car pulled up. Someone was knocking on the door. After several knocks, Shenfu asked who is it. A voice came from outside. It's me. Shenfu grinned. He played dumb. The person outside said Lu Jiaming. Shenfu yawned through the door on purpose. He said sarcastically, didn't the young master go with bus title at the first instance? Lu Jiaming pounded on the door. Why'd you leave so fast? Shenfu brushed him off. He said he was going to sleep. No sound came from outside, but no car either. Just as he was about to leave, a voice came from behind. If you're tired, why are you still standing? Shenfu spun around, shocked. Lu Jiaming had climbed over the wall and was sitting on top, looking at him. Shenfu pointed at him. He said he'd call the police. Lu Jiaming didn't care. He said he invited him to the opera on purpose, so they could light the first incense together. Then he said, if you don't go, I'm not leaving. In the end, Shenfu got in Lu Jiaming's car. After they got out, Lu Jiaming put his own coat on Shenfu. It was early morning. There's still a long way to go to Tianfei. They followed the monk to the side door, the side tree. Standing behind him, asking if he wanted to donate. Shenfu thought about donating. He said he didn't need to with his mouth. He was fine. Then casually, don't you believe in this? Lu Jiaming said he didn't believe in these things. He smiled and looked. Asked if he was jealous today. Shenfu didn't answer, just asked where the ring was. Kiss me and I'll give it to you. He said, pulling out the ring. Continuing to pretend to be hurt. You only care about your ring. That really hurts my feelings. At this moment, regretted claiming the ring was from his late mother. Now he couldn't just say he didn't want it. He reached out for the ring. You only think about kissing me. That really hurts my feelings. Lu Jiaming grabbed his hand, pressed his head to his chest, holding him tight. He had other things on his mind too. His hand slipped inside the fur coat. Lu Jiaming was handsome, but Shenfu couldn't feel anything for him. Uncomfortable, all over. He couldn't push him away too hard. The two were pressed close together. Not even a crack between them. Lu Jiaming's nose made Shenfu shiver. He breathed in deep. Asked Shenfu what he was wearing that smelled so good. He didn't want to wash these clothes when he got home. Outside, the monk had been waiting forever. The pilgrims outside were getting He had to knock on the door, politely called a young man. Only then did Lu Jiming sighed and muttered about the buzzkill. They left through the side door. Lu Jiming forcibly held Shen Fu's hand, said to be careful. It wasn't slippery at all. Shen Fu tried to pull his hand away, but couldn't break free. Lu Jiming was in high spirits. Shen Fu teased, "If you were the king of Chu."
While hearing this, Lu Jiming looked at his amusement and said,
"Then I'll let you cut in line." For Tian put you at the front. When leaving, Shen Fu heard Lu Jiming call him awful. Looked up to see him smiling when he could come visit the home. On the morning of New Year's Day, Shen Fu was still dreaming. Something cold was stuffed in his mouth. He got up to see Shen Lingyi reading the paper. Asked if there was any news. Shen Lingyi said, "Looks like there'd be another war up north." Seeing Shen Fu hanging around, young master Lu August without getting anything out of it, if he should switch target. Shen Fu figured he couldn't find a replacement so fast. Who heard Shen Lingyi say, "Socialites these days all host salads." Shen Fu thought about it. Lu Jiming wanted to visit his place last night anyway, so he decided to host a salad. Made some quick hash and get out. On the day of the salad, the shed house was packed. Shen Fu worried Lu Jiming wouldn't show. Suddenly it got quiet downstairs. The arrival was Lu Jiming. Lu Jiming had no interest in socializing. He barely said hello. He looked up at the second floor. Shen Fu was leaning on the railing with a cigarette, lazily waving at him. Shen Fu led him to the small parlor on the second. After closing the door, the noise from downstairs couldn't be heard anymore. Lu Jiming lay sprawled across the sofa. Shen Fu sat down to make tea for Lu Jiming. But Lu Jiming's legs pinned down his thigh. Shen Fu tried to push him off. He wasn't having it. Through his pants, he bit that. Shen Fu yelled and called him a dog. Lu Jiming didn't get mad. He said dogs are way more honest than people. Right now, Lu Jiming was annoyed at the Zhang family's scheme. For their own selfish gain, they sent their daughter to his house. Shen Fu remembered the garden party that day, seeing that quiet, crying girl. He said to Lu Jiming with a smirk, "You're pretty lucky. Better than me." Shen Fu had an idea. Lu Jiming suddenly asked about his hometown. At this, Shen Fu was a bit, but still went through the story he'd prepared. Lu Jiming watched him with probing eyes, and then casually brushed it off. Ending that topic, Lu Jiming yawned. He turned and said to Shen Fu, "Why don't you take me in?" So, he didn't bother asking him what he was smoking. Why did the cigarettes smell so good? Said vaguely, pulled out the tobacco mixed in dry jasmine petals, then rolled them back up. "It's a pain. Takes all day to make just one tin." Hearing this, Lu Jiming sat up and sniffed, then naturally nuzzled into his arms. "So it's not the cigarette that smells good." Shen Fu felt ticklish from his breath, leaned his head back to dodge. Lu Jiming grabbed him back. Between men and women, Shen Fu preferred women. Kissing and hugging was just playing a part. Going further would be harder to fake. Lu Jiming stared intently at Shen Fu's face, watching his expression with curiosity. Shen Fu looked up at Lu Jiming. Lu Jiming kissed him right on target. Shen Fu's heart jumped. Something felt off. Luckily, Shen Lingyi knocked on the door. Shen Fu quickly called out, acting like nothing happened. Lu Jiming looked like he wanted more. Later, someone from Changgarden came to get Lu Jiming. Seeing his dog run toward him, Lu Jiming instantly cheered up. Jiang Zhulu was behind him. Jiming ignored him, made a gun with his fingers, pretended to shoot the dog. The dog played dead on the ground. Lu Jiming laughed. This jab left Jiang Zhulu speechless. He turned to have someone ready the car and deliberately said, "When he returns." Shen Fu went to the casino that day. Good. Actually won money. Lu Jiming seemed happier when he lost money, so he decided to lose all. Lost all his cash, then put it on Lu Jiming's tab. Later he got distracted. But Lu Jiming was happy about it. Told Shen Fu the winnings were all his. Now Shen Fu got it. Lose and it goes on his tongue. He was here to freeload. Whatever. Had nothing to do with him. Shen Fu quietly calculated. I didn't get what Lu Jiming was up to. Lu Jiming looked at the casino boss. Said they pay Zhang Zhenglu plenty each month.
How come when he puts it on
You're not happy about it.
Don't tell me there's only one Buddha to worship in Pingzhou.
Now Shen Fu understood. He was playing both sides against Zhang Zhenglu. Probably still ticked off about the marriage thing. The boss was in a tough spot. But Lu Jiming had vented. Had to give both sides an out. With a way out, Lu Jiming took it. Told Shen Fu to keep playing. The boss heard this. Thought to himself, when gods fight, mortals suffer. Just then, noisy voices came from outside. When the door opened, a thin young woman stood there. It was Zhang Yanghui. He got dead quiet. Nobody dared speak. Zhang Yanghui called out, "Close it." But Lu Jiming really about it. Zhang Yanghui hesitated. Said something happened to Big Brother was obviously Zhang Zhenglu. Lu Jiming froze when he heard. Frowned slightly. Zhang Yanghui was about to say. But Lu Jiming didn't want to hear. Walked right out. The guests, seeing something big, went down. Zhang Yanghui looked embarrassed. Shen Fu stepped forward to help her out. Called her a rickshaw and sent her off. When he got back, Shen Fu told Shen Lingyi what happened. Being a pampered young lady isn't easy either. This time it felt like something the siblings decided to trade their stuff for cash so they could skip town. Lu Jiming returned. Qin Yan was already waiting in the study. Zhang Jianglu was shot during a meeting. The shooter was already dead. Zhang Jianglu was badly wounded. After they removed the bullet on site, he was rushed back to Pingzhou overnight. Besides Zhang Jianglu getting hurt, everything else stayed. Lu Jiming couldn't figure it out at first. Who benefits from Zhang Jianglu getting hurt? The most obvious beneficiary was Lu Jiming. But Lu Jiming didn't do it. Zhang Jianglu had military power, but killing someone during negotiations, that left only Lu Changshan. Lu Jiming's mind cleared. His heart settled a bit. Now he just had to wait and see. He reminded Qing to protect their plant near Zhangjianglu at all costs. Also, convert all those recent gifts to cash and wire it to Lai. Qing Yan nodded and left to carry out the orders. Lu Jiming smoked one of the cigarettes he swiped from Shen. A faint jasmine taste on his tongue. Lu Changshan brought the wounded Zhang Jialo to Changar. Lady Wang stood there crying, hinting she wanted the old man to take her. Lu Changshan got annoyed listening to his hand and sent her out. Zhang Jialo was still very. He suspected there was a mole. Lu Changshan calmly asked who he thought it was. Right at that moment, Lu Jiming pushed the door open. Zhang Jialo looked at him darkly. But Lu Jiming smiled and said, finally made it back. Don't you reckon? Well, Zhang Jialo gave a fake smile. Said you were hoping I wouldn't come back, right? Lu Changshan smoothed things over. Said Lu Jiming was immature. He'll need you as cousin to look after him. Lu Jiming snorted and turned to leave. He'd barely stepped out when he heard Zhang Jialo inside. It was thanks to his adjutant's sacrifice that he was saved. Lu Jiming closed the door behind him just in time to see the adjutant he mentioned. He looked at the adjutant thoughtfully, patted him on the shoulder and said, you're pretty good. The Shen house had been crowded lately. Lu Jiming took over a lot of business. Everyone was kissing up to power. When they couldn't find Lu Jiming, they camped out. Shen got tired of dealing with them and left. He went to Refuction to get some sleep, but he dreamed of something from long ago. He, Shen Ling, and Little Ai were all orphans. When Shen Fu was 14, a fire burned down the orphanage. The three of them ran out in the firelight. He lost his shoes. Couldn't keep up with Shen Ling. Shen Ling held the glass up, yelling at him to hurry up. The fire was fierce. He tripped and fell hard. Shen Fu took the wave, opened his eyes to find Lu Jiming staring right at him. Lu Jiming asked if he had a nightmare. Shen Fu was a bit dazed. Murmured no. Seeing tears in the corner of Shen Fu's eyes. Lu Jiming sat down beside him. Shen Fu frantically tried to wipe them away. Lu Jiming grabbed his eye. Lu Jiming gently used his lip to kiss away the tears on his face, kissing down his cheek until he reached his lip. Shen Fu's heart closed. He pushed Lu Jiming, said he'd go wash his face. And Lu Jiming casually said okay. Turned the down button. He assured him. Then Lin saying he wanted to. Came forward, gripping Shen Fu's chin, gripped at his collarbone. Shen Fu quickly pushed him away. Shen Fu felt his face getting hot for no reason. Said he could do it himself after Shen Fu changed clothes. Jiming looked troubled, rubbing his temples. Shen Fu took over. Early the next morning, they set off for Loyan Beach, met up with the owner of Refusian. The group in total was some hunting dogs. One pound barked a few times at the group. Lu Jiming showed no expression, shouted down at the dog. The dog seemed to sense this man wasn't to be messed with. Instantly calmed down. Lu Jiming laughed and called it a good dog. Kang Fu strode to the side watch. Wasn't too worried about Lu Jiming. Felt a bit uneasy. The polished rifle gleamed. He fumbled with loading the hunting rifle. Seeing this, Lu Jiming took his hand and said he'd teach him. Then put his arm around Shen Fu. Leaned in close to his ear, told him to lift the rifle. It's easy. Shen Fu clumsily raised the gun. Lu Jiming wrapped around him from behind. It was quiet all around, just the sound of wind through the reeds. Lu Jiming's head rested on Shen Fu's shoulder. Their faces pressed together. He told Shen Fu to look happy. When he counted to 3, pulled the trigger. He strained to look and saw a figure flash by. His heart sank. Without thinking, he yelled at Lu Jiming to wait. But Lu Jiming pressed his finger and fired the shot. Then came shouts that someone got hit. Shen Fu smelled blood.
Gunfire kept ringing
Lu
out.
Jiming grabbed his hand and ran. Shen Fu tried to shake him. Obviously they were after Lu Jiming. Staying with him meant dying faster. The car was parked just ahead. Lu Jiming yanked the door open and shoved Shen Fu inside. He jumped in right after into the driver's seat. Lu Jiming floored it. Shen Fu felt like his back got slammed hard. Before Shen Fu could relax, he heard a bang. Probably a tire blown out by a bullet. The car skidded out of control. Lu Jiming hit the brakes. The car barely stopped without flipping. Then Lu Jiming noticed someone shooting at them. He quickly pushed Shen Fu's head down, while the shooter reloaded. He urged Shen Fu to get his gun. Shen Fu had never aimed at a person. His finger wouldn't stop shaking. Lu Jiming reminded him, the car's dead. Not using the gun means. He wrapped his arms around, reached out and caught the gun. His back pressed against Lu Jiming's chest. He felt Lu Jiming's heart racing too. One shot hit the enemy that's him. Lu Jiming praised him excitedly, but Shen Fu hadn't caught up yet. Asked if he was scared. Shen Fu didn't answer. Lu Jiming reached out to touch his face. Shen Fu pulled back his teeth. Lu Jiming laughed. He was about to say something but stopped. Suddenly another shot rang out in the distance. Lu Jiming reacted fast. He pulled Shen Fu into his arm. Shen Fu's face slammed into Lu Jiming's chest. He heard Lu Jiming groan, and the sound of a bullet tearing through flesh. Shen Fu panicked. Lu Jiming weakly told him to get down. Until Nan Fan and the other they rushed Lu Jiming back to Z. The same Western doctor who treated Zhang Jialo was called in. Shen Fu wanted to check on, but Qin Yan stopped. Qin Yan told him the young master wanted him to wait in his room. Shen Fu didn't argue. He followed to the room, but he was a bit surprised. Qin Yan was Lu Jiming's right hand, always by his side. But this morning Qin Yan hadn't come along. He felt more suspicious. This attack probably wasn't simple. A few days ago, the clerk from Fruixiang warned. Someone was tailing the young master. Ling San must have told. With Qin Yan's vigilance, he would have been on guard. But at the wild goose beach, Lu Jiming oddly brought no guards. Plus Lu Jiming's weird excitement. Was he really just hunting geese? Shen Fu had to wonder if the guy he shot hit by accident, or if Lu Jiming aimed precisely. Shen Fu was terrified. This was out of control, beyond what he could handle. Whatever happened, he had to get out of here. But guards were posted outside. He couldn't leave it all. Meanwhile, the Western doctor told Lu Changshan the bullet was removed. Vital organs hit. Lu Jiming lay on the bed with his eyes closed. Someone pushed the door. He heard Lu Jiming got hurt and came to check. Lu Changshan didn't even look at him.
Just said one sentence.
Check what? See if he's dead. That scared the hell out of Zhang Zhenlong. Lu Changshan told him to look at the bullet on the table. Didn't get it. He picked up the bullet, took one look, and broke out a cold sweat. This bullet had a unique caliber from a Type 17 pistol made by Yan Yihai. Zhang Zhenlong had just bought weapons from him recently. Obviously, the bullet was his. When Lu Jiming went to hunt, he did send men, but they were hired hitmen. Couldn't have left a trail.
Zhang Zhenlong denied the
Someone
charge.
wanted Lu Jiming dead and was framing him. Yang Huijiao thought he was done. Lu Changshan didn't say much. Just said he was too impatient. These days, nobody cares about 3 generations or sons inheriting.
Whoever's got the fire.
Used to call the shots. After that, Lu Jiming slowly opened his eyes. He ignored the pain in his shoulder, started piecing things together in his mind. So long since Jiang Jiali got shot, and the old man never went after the North. Obviously, the hit on Zhang Zhenlong was his father's doing. This time, they were Jiang Jiang, his father's men. Went along with it and had to feel to Zhang Zheng use fire. The only miscalculation was that Qin Yan's bullet was meant for Shen Fu's head. Lu Jiming remembered in the car after firing the look Shen Fu gave him. That look excited Lu Jing, like seeing a vicious guard dog chained to a tree, now waiting for him to tame it. Then, Qin Yan brought Shen Fu. Lu Jiming pretended to just wake up, looked at Shen Fu leisurely. Shen Fu's face showed genuine concern. He grabbed Lu Jiming's hand, asked if it hurt. Lu Jiming held Shen Fu's hand back, looking pitiful. Said it hurt bad. Qin Yan couldn't watch. He left on his own. Lu Jiming exaggerated the pain, held Shen Fu's hand and Shen Fu said he'd stay and keep him company. Lu Jiming refused without hesitation. He couldn't bear to leave him for a second. Shen Fu was forced to stay at Jingli Wen to take care of Lu Jiming. He hoped Shen Lingyi would notice something was off and get ready early. Pingzhou wasn't a place to stick around, and then Lu Jiming wasn't what he thought at first. This guy was very bad.
According to the original plan, the little
But
schemer
at the
should have been
critical
out.
moment, the big schemer took a bullet for him. Sure, he said keeping him alive was useful, but what he really thought, who knows? Lu Jiming got hurt, so Shen Fu was stuck at Zuiwen, sleeping next to Lu Jiming. Shen Fu couldn't relax. He turned his head and saw Lu Jiming propped up, watching him. Suddenly, Lu Jiming leaned over. His soft lips brushed Shen Fu's eyelids, then moved to his lips. Shen Fu reached out to push him away, not worried about his wound. Lu Jiming put his hand on his firm waist, told him softly, in a couple days they go back to Qingyu Bridge. He could go home and pack. Shen Fu perked up, looked down to hide his feelings, said okay. Lu Jiming seemed happy. His voice had a smile, told him to pack more and move in. Shen Fu didn't agree or refuse, just turned over and said he was tired. At midnight, Lu Jiming was alone in bed. He slowly opened his eyes, thought to himself restless in the middle of the night. Shen Fu couldn't sleep. He was in the courtyard thinking of a plan. Suddenly he heard Lu Jiming. It scared him stiff. Lu Jiming wrapped in a coat, asked where he was going in the middle of the night. Explained he just couldn't sleep, needed air. Xuyuan was pitch black everywhere. Only one spot in the distance had a faint. Lu Jiming told Shen Fu that's where his mother used to live. Everyone knew Lu Jiming's background. His mother was Lu Changshan's only son, Lu Hemming. Changshan was a warlord, but his son was a scholar general. Later married Yan Yihai's eldest daughter, Yan Yuming. But both of them died. That place was the courtyard his father built for his mother. His father said the first time he saw his mother, he couldn't tell if the moon or she was more beautiful, so his name Jiming came from that line. The moon shines bright and clear. Shen Fu was surprised. It was such a romantic story. But Lu Jiming suddenly changed his tone, said coldly, but she died in that courtyard. He looked at Shen Fu, like that sentence was meant for him. After that, he really hated dishonest people. Oh, the cold night wind made Shen Fu shiver, so they should go back to bed. Lu Jiming came up from behind, his arm around his back. Don't sneak off anymore. Don't sneak off anymore. Waking up and not finding you scared me. Sounded like teasing, but hit Shen Fu's sore spot. His heart sank. 2 weeks later, Lu Jiming sent Chun Yan to take Shen Fu home to pack. Shen Fu briefly told what happened at the Goose Beach. Told Shen Lingyi to get cash ready. They had to escape to Xiang'an Falls. Then quickly packed some clothes and left with Chun Yan. After Shen Fu left, Lingyi had Xiaowei send a message. Thought maybe that person could help them escape.
Meanwhile,
Lu Jiming checked his shoulder wound. Smiled at Chun Yan. Good aim. Let him see the gun. Chun Yan couldn't help but say, why did the young master risk himself? Keeping him alive was useful. Told Chun Yan to watch the Shen house. They'd make a move. After getting hurt, Lu Jiming followed doctor's orders. Barely went out. Didn't smoke or drink. When the craving, steal a puff from Shen Fu's cigarette. Fu had things on his mind, so he was extra compliant. Lu Jiming's injury wasn't kept secret. Wasn't meant to be. Who needed to know found out. Gifts poured in. And Shen Fu finally got word from Shen Lingyi. Xiaowei came up, bringing him clothes and cigarettes. Shen Fu didn't say much to him. Back in his room, he opened the bundle. Pulled out a tiny note from the cigarette pack. It said April 3rd, 10 p.m. East City Dock. Shen Lingyi must have found a way out of the city. Just then, Lu Jiming burst in excitedly. Shen Fu jumped, crumpled the note, and shoved it under the pillow. Shen Fu turned around and saw Lu Jiming watching him. Then his eyes moved to the basket. Lu Jiming picked up a cigarette. Why didn't his boy use a cigarette case? Shen Fu got nervous and said, doesn't matter. Lu Jiming sat down. Said Meng San got a good stone. Asked Shen Fu if he wanted to come. Shen Fu worried Lu Jiming would find the note. Got up and walked over to Small. Shen Fu realized the day after tomorrow was the 3rd. Found an excuse and turned Lu Jiming down. Lu Jiming watched him for a moment. Said with a smile he rarely saw him in a long gown. Shen Fu turned and didn't know what to say. Suddenly, Lu Jiming stretched, lay back on Shen Fu's bed. Shen Fu held back the urge to drag him off, told him to sleep in his own bed. Lu Jieming didn't budge, even rolled around on Shen Fu's bed. He buried his face in Shen Fu's pillow. He said everything he touched smelled good. The little paper ball was about to show. Lu Jieming muttered something about what's this, reached out to grab it. Shen Fu grabbed his hand. Lu Jieming turned his head. Shen Fu worried he'd look again, decided to go all in, pinned his hand down and leaned in to kiss Lu Jieming. Lu Jieming was surprised. Shen Fu was rarely this forward, then teased him. Said you kiss like a woman. So Lu Jieming wrapped his arm around his waist, flipped him over and pinned him down, whispered in his ear his wound was almost healed. His voice was low, made Shen Fu's ear tingle. Shen Fu looked around. The paper ball was gone. Suddenly, he caught it from the corner of his eye, on Lu Jieming's collar. Lu Jieming looked up and smiled. What's wrong? Looking for something. Shen Fu awkwardly said no. Lu Jieming ran his hand down his side. The paper ball was about to fall. Shen Fu flipped over, took back control, snatched the paper ball away. Before he could breathe, Lu Jieming struck, set him back down. Said he preferred it this way. Shen Fu felt himself shudder. Say what he felt. After teasing him, Lu Jieming smiled meaningfully. Said you've got all the time in the world. On April 3rd, Haiming left early from Meng San's place. Qin Yan drove and left with Lu Jieming. The other servants at Lu Mansion had no reason to stop Shen. Shen Fu went to the east dock to meet Shen Lingyi and the others. Shen Lingyi told him she got 3 boat tickets. Heading south. The boat leaves at 10 sharp. They had to hurry. Shen Fu glanced. The tickets had fake name. He didn't ask. The 3 of them headed for the passenger boat. Someone was standing guard there, checking tickets against the list. The guy looked back and forth at the list for a while. Said their names weren't on it. Shen Fu calmly tried to explain, but Shen Lingyi next to him went pale. Shen Lingyi grabbed Shen Fu's sleeve, shaking. They're suspicious. Asked her what happened. Just then a car horn sounded. Shen Fu turned around on alert. His heart pounded. Inside the car, Lu Jieming was smiling and waving at him. Shen Fu planned to escape by water, but Lu Jieming caught him like a fish in a barrel. Now he understood. Lu Jieming probably knew his identity was fake all along. Just played along with his act. Shen Fu quietly asked Shen Lingyi what happened. Shen Lingyi looked uneasy. Said Yu Waihang got her the tickets. Shen Fu didn't expect to hear Yu Waihang's name right now. Shen Lingyi's face